All right. Is it true? Whatever it is that you're looking to learn more about. It's kind of interesting. I did a test when I first got my AirPods Pro. They're awesome. And I asked the people at the store if I could use them for recording, if they would work for the sound. And actually, with the direct recording to the iPhone Pro Max 11, no, it wouldn't work for that. However, it does work for a live broadcast or the record feature on YouTube. So this is what that looks like. I can uh, I can walk away, and you should be able to hear me. So this is a bit of a test for that. The um, the tide is coming in right now. The water temperature is in the 50s. The air temperature is in the 60s. It's the day after. Well, it's Friday. It's Friday, and it's a beautiful day, and it's a different kind of a day. A bit overcast, of course. And what I wanted to talk about is the video that I put on my Facebook. When I add a like to a video, it's effectively shared millions of times. So that's a powerful reality. So seeing is believing. What? What did we see? And what do we believe about what we saw? Therein lies one of the biggest questions that I've found with trying to determine what the truth and what the reality of a situation actually is. So, quite often, when somebody says something like, well, whatever they say, whether it's on the news, whether it's face to face, what I'm thinking, is that true? How about when somebody makes statements about me that I know are false? I know they're false. That's not true. Their perspective of me is obviously distorted. So back in the older days, like when there were castles and kings and that type of thing, and if you've watched Monty Python, man, I had a lot of laughs with Monty Python. Don't kill the messenger. You've got a messenger that's got a message, and a lot of times what people want to do is effectively kill that message, kill the messenger. So discrediting the messenger is what happens nowadays quite often. So there's over 4,500 videos in my liked videos playlist. There's something there for everybody to like and hate. So even when I put something on my channel and on my liked videos playlist that is presenting something that's, I believe, not true, and I'm letting them present it with their own words, their own explanations. What I'm able to do, because I can't typically make many comments derogatory on some of the videos that I'm in, to the tune of almost 40 million views. A lot of times I'm muted on or made hidden. People can't see my comments. I know that because they're not commenting on them, and I'm the guy in the video that they're making fun of. One of the guys. Okay, so what I can do then is whatever I can. I'll do the best I can with what I have. I'll do a live broadcast like this and make a statement about the different videos that I'm either in or commenting on topics like artificial intelligence, health and nutrition, and and all kinds of different things, like the how do we see the world around us? Is it based in reality, or is it a false reality. So, is it true also includes what I think about. Is the thing that I'm thinking about, whatever that is that true as well? Sometimes some of the most harmful things that we consider may not even be what other people say. They may have said it, but it's when we think about it ourselves. When I think about it myself, like, am I ever going to amount to anything? Well, yeah, I have. I'm glad to see what's happened with me. I'm actually a child of God that's born again and empowered with the Holy Spirit. That's a that's a wonderful reality to have happened to me. And that's one of the reasons why I talk about this so much. I'm going to go ahead and pan on around and show you a little bit about what this looks like here. This is at the Prince Resort in Cherry Grove, South Carolina. Trying to get my, let's see, I don't know. Okay, it's working just fine. I'm using a gimbal right now and a tripod. So when I originally tested my AirPods Pro, I tested them with the record feature, and they didn't work. And then I tested them with the record feature on YouTube, and they worked fine. I knew they did because I went ahead and activated it and basically walked out of the room. I walked away. For those of you who have worked with sound systems, it can be a real challenge. Now, this particular set of headphones appears to have like a reach of over 50 feet, which is really, really amazing. And they're very effective, apparently. So there's a couple of things that I'm wanting to talk about with this. One of them is that because I tested it one way doesn't mean that it wouldn't work another way. So I had a false assumption. I've had these the day that they came out, the AirPods Pro, and I really like them. They're spectacular. The way that they work. Now there's some lower budget um, devices. What is so nice about these is they have a charging case, and you can charge them on a surface charger like that. And now I know that if I'm using the YouTube app, that it works for the recording of that, whether it's a direct recording on my device using the software of YouTube. And then if I go live, I did a live test and made an unlisted video that was like 40 seconds long this morning to confirm that it actually worked. One of the things that happened was yesterday, I noticed that when I stepped in front of the microphone, the sound was, or when I stepped in front of the camera, I'm using the forward facing camera. So I can't see myself in the device right now, which is fine. Yesterday, when I stepped in front of the camera, the sound was terrible. It just wasn't very good. This should have a consistent sound wherever I am with this right now. So the video that I featured by Shaking My Head Productions, I actually shared it tens of millions of times through my liked videos playlist. I had a video that I posted as a premiere. As soon as it was ready to go, it it went live. It premiered immediately, and it turned at the same time I did that. It turned my liked videos playlist to private. What that essentially means is the tens of millions of links, occurrences of my liked videos playlist that's all over the internet, all over the cloud, effectively became ineffective. How about that? It took me about a half an hour to figure out how to reset it, and I did. And involved in that was where I read that after December 5th, the liked videos playlist was no longer going to be made publicly visible. So what I did is I copied and pasted my liked videos playlist tens of thousands of times, and then friends have shared those thousands of times. And then the occurrence of that like videos playlist are in videos like the local sun video through the Infinite Earth post that has over 700,000 views, I believe approaching 1 million views. And that's been shared well over 20,000 times in its variety of occurrences that have my liked videos playlist. About a year ago, August 1st, in 2018, Facebook stopped me and everybody else from copying and pasting my massive photo album that had tens of millions of occurrences of my liked videos playlist. They just stopped it. You know, I would get comments by the haters. I don't have time to look at 2,800 photos. That's fine. I'm just, don't kill the messenger. What I did is I compiled evidence for what I'm talking about, whatever it is. If I'm talking about, when I'm talking about the pharmaceutical industry, I'll have something related to that photo there, and then I copied and pasted my like videos playlist, starting with one of the videos was making a killing, talking about the pharmaceutical industry. So it was a bit of a storage system and a distribution network. That's part of what I brought to the table here. And I hope some of you have found, and I know you have, some of you have called me and said or commented, I really like the way that you present what you do. I do too. It comes very natural to me. I've been questioning my reality for a long time. A long time. I mentioned yesterday when I started riding a two-wheeled bicycle without training wheels. I was actually 2.5 years old, and I didn't have a dad pushing me to do that. What happened was I asked my dad if he would take the training wheels off. I'm 2.5 years old. That's something like about this tall. I'll go out here so you can probably see it. I was about like that tall, and I took right to it. I needed my dad to give me a push, and then I would go pedaling. I've had an affinity for uh, driving motorcycles, bicycles, snowmobiles, fast cars, all kinds of stuff. Fast boats, jet skis. It's very interesting. I've actually worked on prototype equipment where I fabricated uh, products that would go to factories like that you would recognize, and some that you wouldn't, like laboratories and that. Now, I don't have any non-disclosure agreements in effect with anybody. That's one of the wonderful things that I bring to the table. What would it profit a man if he gained the whole world and lose his soul? Would I shut up for $1 billion? I wouldn't shut up for all the money in the world and all the stuff and all the fun, apparently, that some people are able to enjoy with their billionaire or trillionaire status. So, what I would prefer to do is tell the truth about what I found out. The fact that news media outlets are using, and the governments of the world are using modern cinematography, computer graphic imagery to project a public uh, persona or a public perspective. They're presenting a perspective that they want people to believe. so that they will cooperate with creating the war machine and activating it to support the wars for bankers. And those that are the bankers actually create the money out of thin air, utilizing computers and a military force that supports that, and then brainwashing humanity with a false reality and conscripting people to that, paying for their own enslavement. Isn't that special? So, do you know the truth? Do you love the truth? Will you recognize the truth when it's right in front of you? More than my shirt, more than my YouTube channel. I mean, the reality of what you want to know about, whatever that question is that you want to know about, is that true, the information that you find? So, one of the benefits with YouTube is that we've been given an opportunity, for a while at least, to be able to learn a lot of information. And so, oh, you learned about this or that from YouTube videos? Hey, keep in mind all the mainstream medias are there, and the disinformation network of the world is all there too. So there's a lot of false information throughout, all over the place. So when somebody, okay, so I'm going to back up just a step here and say, one of the biblical realities that God's word says to everybody, including all spiritual entities forever, they refuse to love the truth and so be saved. For this reason, God sends them a powerful delusion. So they're going to believe, people are going to believe the lie they apparently want to believe. Now, what happened with me is I wanted to know the truth more than anything else. When I die, where am I going to go and why? Well, the reality of it is I'm going to go to heaven because I'm a child of God that's actually born again. I didn't pick myself up by my own bootstraps to to get here. I just wanted to know the truth more than anything else, and God gave me that desire to know that. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here doing this. And so a love of the truth, I believe, is a gift from God. So he gave me his Holy Spirit, removed the fear of living, dying, or telling the truth. I was afraid to do all of that because when I was living a deceptive lifestyle, I didn't want to, I was self-deceived and I was deceiving others as well. And one of the ways that I was deceiving others that I was unaware of, I thought I was born again. It was false advertising. I wasn't actually born of the Spirit. So I'm a biblical creationist. I believe God's word is true, and all other words are suspect. And I've got this information here. If you ever see my name with a space between the hashtag, I may do that on a comment that would otherwise get flagged, like on a YouTube video. I may put the hashtag a space in my name because if I put an active hyperlink on a video comment, a lot of times it'll go into the uh, review bucket or the review category, the file where somebody needs to say, yeah, I don't want that Fruit Loop on my channel. I'm going to mute them. So one of the reasons why I put my phone number there too, my phone number is unique to me. There's only, as far as I know, there's only that one phone number. So if you just type my phone number into a search, you'll find a lot of content there. If you type my name with the hashtag in front of it into a search, you're going to find that I'm across quite a few social media platforms. Because of the censorship that's going on, it's a real challenge. I'm just doing the best that I can. Keep in mind, like if you were to say, okay, Robert, I don't need your liked videos playlist. I can find it on my own. Okay, if you had that view that you could just find it on your own, what I would say is when when you type in a word search, and there are millions of results in less than a half a second, how many of those pages do you get through? How many of those results do you see? So some of the censorship that's going on, rather than just take my channel down or kill me, uh, they'll just make it really hard to find what I'm talking about. That's how elaborate artificial intelligence is. If you don't know what AI is, it's more like the Terminator. Artificial intelligence is more like the Terminator AI Matrix. You can look at movies like I, Robot. That was put out in 2004. And in some of those scenes, it was hard to differentiate from reality. It looked real, but by the events that were unfolding on the movie, it I knew it couldn't be real, okay? Or at least that's what I believed. It couldn't be real. So when we see things like rockets landing back down on their launch pads, like with SpaceX, doesn't look real to me. Doesn't look possible to me, understanding aerodynamics and all of that. And it looks more like a space fantasy, like going to Mars with basically augmented reality and virtual headsets and that type of thing. I had to take my second Oculus Go back. I bought one, got it all working in a couple of minutes, and then the next day it stopped working. So I took it back and got another one. I did the same thing and it stopped working. And I was going to replace it with another one. And the sales representative in electronics at Walmart looked it up on the internet and found out through his sources that there were a lot of problems with that. Many people were having that problem. Well, one of the definitions of insanity is doing the same thing expecting different results. So I tried two of them and I was ready to get another one. And when he mentioned that they were having that problem all over, I wouldn't know if it's a bad batch of them, a bad series of them, some kind of a bug fix that needs to get worked out. I didn't want to invest the time in getting another one that I was going to have a lot of problems with. So I just returned it and left it be there. What ended up happening though is with the laser pointer and the Oculus headset, I was able to delve into some really immersive virtual reality content that was created by some amazing creators. The thing of it is, some of that content is not going to be able to be very visible with a conventional computer. One of the things, or interface or a TV, I've got a 75-inch TV that I broadcast my YouTube channel on, which is basically a portal for the entire YouTube platform and the entire internet. I can also put my Facebook up on there and it works really good. One of the things that I found with the Google uh, channel, there was they call it Google Nose, as in the nose, as in the sense of smell, the olfactory sense. And what happened was apparently Google was able to create videos that would allow you to smell fragrances. And I thought, well, that's pretty interesting. How is that working? Are they using a technology that's a frequency coming through the computer and the airwaves around it that are causing the sense of smell to be activated? Is that true, what I just said? Well, the videos are on my channel. I covered it. I subscribe to to Google and YouTube, and they've got some amazing content that has been created. When I invite people to like my page or a page that I'm recommending, like DARPA or Google or any of the others, the CIA, the FBI. I'm not afraid of any of these entities. I'm actually very public and in plain sight. So rather than me having manila envelope that I would want somebody to pass on in case something happens to me. I would rather say, hey, something did happen to me. I was given a love for the truth, and I'm not afraid to live, die, or tell the truth. Now, I used to be living a life that had lost a sense of joy and purpose and meaning. Now, that has been replaced. And when I was viewing life like that, it was a result of pharmaceuticals as prescribed, poor nutrition, poor life choices, and I augmented some of that pharmaceutical interaction and compliance with alcohol and marijuana and more. So now I'm off of all drugs. I have been for 5 years. I'm not riding around dirty, so I can talk basically about whatever I want to talk about. Isn't that special? Yeah, if I was riding dirty, I wouldn't be talking about this kind of thing. So anyway, when I open up my ability to share a page with my friends, I can recommend a page to like 4,753 people or so. A few hundred people maybe have their parameters set up on Facebook that I can't recommend a page for them. So what I'll do, rather than the standard invitation to look at a page, I'll hashtag my name, phone number, truth, and then I'll copy and paste my liked videos playlist there, and I'll send it out. And I did. It would be sent out to, like maybe 500 people initially, and then I sent it out again, and I invited fewer people. Interesting. That I'm going to try and say that maybe in a different way that you can consider is that when I repeatedly invited people to like the same page right there and then, I invited fewer people because of my persistence. Evidently, I can only invite so many at once on a given page. Couple of matters of housekeeping. Right now, as far as I know, we can have 2,000 subscriptions. I can subscribe to 2,000 channels. A lot of the channels that I subscribe to don't have any content on them, and it may be a sock puppet account. I don't know. And I can invite people, or I can subscribe to 100 channels a day. Interesting, because when I reached that limit, it shut me off. Just some things that I found out. Now, what I just mentioned can change at any given time. Just like for quite a while now, I've been mentioning that if you make your liked videos playlist public and you like a video, it's there just like that. So when I like a video, it's more than adding a like as in a viewer count on that video. It sends it all over the world in the welcoming that I message people. Welcome. When somebody decides they want to be a friend of mine, I'll say welcome, and I would send them my video playlist, like videos playlist. I used to send my photo album, and then Facebook stopped me from doing that. I was getting a response back from the people I had sent it to, and they would say, that link you sent me is not working. Or if I put the comment, copied and pasted my photo album in a comment, I found out that they stopped it from happening. So part of our communication with one another is following up and letting each other know what's going on, kinda. I mean, it makes a big difference. So I'm not going to spend my time copying and pasting a bunch of inactive links. About a month ago, I was going to share my photo album that has it's called Eternal Perspectives Bible.com, and it's got roughly 2,843 photos with tens of millions of my like videos playlist links in there, and more links as well. Well, what happened was they expired the link. The link wouldn't, I couldn't find it. I could find a few of my photos. And yeah, I've got all of those photos on hard drives, uh, probably a probably a dozen terabytes of data, but that's not the big story. The big story isn't having a picture of one more sunrise or people walking on the beach. What it is that each one of those photos had my like videos playlist in a destination that it would appear as soon as I add another video. I like another video. The playlist is continually changing. One of the dynamics with that is that when a channel is taken down, then there's a big void of uh, videos not available. It'll show the channel associated with this video was removed because of uh, copyright infringement or whatever else they want to say. But that's one of them, and that's part of the censorship too. It happens on a different way. So my like videos playlist has some of the best videos, hard hitting documentaries, and musical uh, uh, music videos showing the beauty of creation and pretty music along with it. The time lapse video showing the condensation and clouds forming in the mountains of Norway, Iceland, Antarctica, all over the world. So you can explore my channel. For somebody that wants to know the truth, I believe you'll find it on my channel. If you want to see the deception, you'll find it on my channel too. What I have an opportunity is to break down what I believe the truth is and the deception. And I'm not going to cover all of that right now because I've got nearly 2,000 videos that I produced with myself explaining that. So when I present something like, for example, the biblical cosmology, it's unpopular with a lot of people that claim to love the Bible. And they'll find ministries like Answers in Genesis that are promoting the spinning water ball hurling through space. A lot of people don't even give it much thought. They just believe that a Christian ministry is going to tell them the truth. And we see the globe in libraries, schools, mobiles above the crib, all kinds of iconic people are talking about the globe, the globalists, and all that. But the globe is a fantasy. It's not real. It's really deceptive, is what it is. So that's one of the evidences. There's empirical evidence that proves we're not on a globe. That would be the x-axis has no visible curvature. That's left to right. And for those that think that ships vanish over the horizon, it's an optical limitation and perspective. And we've got waves, humidity, clouds, and the laws of perspective. You can look them up if you want to. There's brilliant documentaries that show that. One of the other evidences is that we had a flood that covered the face of this stationary and level Earth. Keep in mind there would be no level anywhere if the Earth were moving 1,038 miles an hour at the equator in an easterly direction, even tilted on an axis, supposedly. That's all make believe. I'm just telling you, I know that's not happening. So, a couple of things people heard me say 40 million times. Do you feel yourself spinning, wobbling, or gyrating? No, I'm rock solid. Then the other thing is we don't have toilet water flying out on people in Australia because of gravity. Well, hello, it's just water seeking its level. That's what it does. The tide's coming in, that's what it'll do, and then it'll turn around and go right back out. Then another one that PewDiePie, I'm on PewDiePie's channel for several minutes, and he's breaking down these points that I made. And he's making fun of me for doing it. Good. I don't mind. I don't mind. One of the other things I said is they're lying and I ain't buying. Basically, when I found out that they were lying about the shape of the Earth, the space program, pretending to land on the moon, and then the false pretense for war of 9/11 of 2001, it was just a whole bunch of truth that I found out. And so then the deception becomes obvious. And those that are deceivers become obvious to me, whereas a whole lot of humanity won't recognize that. So what I wanted to say with that too, good morning, on the worldwide flood that Noah prepared for by building an ark, it sounds like a fabulous story, right? Yeah, yeah. How did all those animals fit on there? We've got Dawkins and different atheists that'll come against that, saying, "Oh, it's not possible. God can make more animals after the ark. It's not that everybody, it's not that every animal had to be on the ark, for one thing. But then the other thing is we've got shark teeth in the desert, and the ark was actually discovered in the mountains of Ararat, and I've got that video on my like video playlist. There's multiple videos on archaeological evidence that supports the biblical proclamation. Some would say, oh, it'd have to rain too long to cover the face of the earth. Well, how about this? The windows of heaven opened up, allowing water in and air to go back out. It's all about the flow. You want to be in the flow. And then the other thing is the fountains of the deep opened up. They may still be operating now. I don't know. How could I know? Can you tell what's going on underneath that water? There's sharks out there. This, right off this pier, the world's largest tiger shark at that time was caught. Almost 2,000 pounds of man-eating shark. Oh, and then God caused it to start raining. So we had three water sources: the fountains of the deep, the windows of heaven, and rain. All of it at once. How about that? Just to make sure there was no confusion that there was actually a structure up above the firmament. You can hashtag firmament. It's the reality of the world that we live in. It would be impossible to have a pressurized atmosphere with the vacuum of space being all around us if that were true. What is true is there's the structure that allows for the atmosphere to be pressurized. One of the other things, the movement of the earth has never been proven. Did you know that? Yeah, how about that? Never been proven. Now, there's been uh, deception presented, and a lot of people will believe it. It's what they want to believe. Oh, well. So, one of the short versions, I believe, accurately describes this truth and reality. God's grace is required to love and believe the truth, let alone find it. By irony and paradox, the deceived are unaware that they are, in fact, deceived. And the truth is going to sound crazy to those that are deceived. They have a different belief system. And they'll look at things and say, oh, that person believes we didn't go to the moon. 9/11 was an inside job. Vaccines are harming people. That's a crazy person. No, it's just somebody that cares enough about the people around me to tell the truth. And even more than caring for the people around me, I have a passion to do what I'm created to do. So I get to do what I want to do because God, who created me, put the desire to do what He created me to do. He's the one that gave it to me. So delight yourself in the Lord in all ways, acknowledge Him, and He'll give you the desires of your heart. If you're looking for a biblical support for that, if you have any questions on what I talk about, you can call me anytime. I actually get calls from people around the world at any given time of the day or night. So that's why I make that information publicly available. So in the video that I shot uh, just down the way there, the local sun, I've got a lot of occurrences of the sun appearing in the clouds. And I know people give a lot of explanations on how that works. It's an amusing illusion. Typically, what I would ask a person that has that perspective, do you believe you live on a spinning water ball hurling through space? Most of them will say, yeah. Okay. That's all I needed to know about that because I know that's not happening. That's not possible. The biblical proclamation is the sun, moon, and stars move above the stationary earth. I've got time lapse video to show the whole sky and all the stars moving, the beautiful reflection on the water that's mirroring the moving stars, the aurora borealis. You can see waterfalls where the water is falling. Do you think that there's waterfalls opposite of where I'm standing now, coming up the opposite way? Rain falls, water falls. When we use restroom facilities, the water seeks level, whether it's in the toilet, the bathtub, wherever. So, one of the things that I've been doing is bathing in highly purified, carbon filtered, solar activated, reverse osmosis water. What that does is it hydrates the body, draws the toxins out of my physiology, and I'll boil a quart of water of that same kind of water, and I'll add a heaping tablespoon of borax, which is boron, it's not a soap, and baking soda. I'll soak my exfoliating gloves in there so no fungus is going to grow in there. Now, I pour some of that water into clear glass that's all clean before I put the gloves in it, and I'll drink some of that throughout the day. It's actually healthy for the body. It kills the candida, which is a gastrointestinal fungus. Cancer is a fungus. Dr. Simonici from Rome actually killed cancer with baking soda water. Borax also kills fungus. So does the baking soda. Cleanses the liver. I liquefy high-powered nutrients, fruits and vegetables, and seeds like hemp hearts, chia seed, that type of thing. All highly nutritious. I'll have about a quart of a quarter cup of coconut oil a day, and I'll drink it. Uh, put it in my coffee if I want. It's highly nutritious brain food, and it's good for the skin, hair, and nails. The reason why I mention that is so many of the commercial sunscreens and personal hygiene products are loaded with chemicals to impair your function, including the toothpaste that has sodium fluoride in it. It's toxic. It even says so on the back of the toothpaste tube. So I brush with baking soda and borax water. So, food for thought is a big category of information, and I believe a very important reality. Food for thought would be ideas, would be information. I prefer the truth for that, and also the building blocks for the neurotransmitters that the brain operates on: serotonin, dopamine, norepinephrine, and more. Those fight or flight responses. I want to be good to go whenever I need to go. So it's very important. I've got target focused training on my channel. It's how to recognize an imminent life threatening circumstance and to basically carry out what needs to happen to either protect myself or others that I may intervene on. So, target focus training. You can check that out if you care to. The idea, part of the idea of that is it's not that I just have a weapon, I am a weapon. I am a weapon of mass instruction, exposing the mass deception that's going on. That's why I do this. So I've actually made an invitation, and I'll make it again. If you are connected in such a way that you would want to take my content to the mainstream, if you like, I would be happy to go on any of the talk shows. I would be happy to do that. I don't have a big budget to do that, so it would need to be paid to get there, or you can take my content and use it, present it there if you want, or I can do it on Skype or in an interaction on a live interview like this, like a correspondent. On the LinkedIn uh, format, I've recognized myself that I'm an investigative journalist. I am. I've been investigating my whole life, and I want to help people to make an informed choice on your eternity. I'm good to go, so I'm not afraid to live, die, or tell the truth. One of the things that Rich from the London Guardian heard me say, I was interviewed by them at the Flat Earth Conference in Colorado. I said, if you're not prepared to die for the truth, I don't believe you found it yet. He wanted to hear that again. Yeah, it's true for me. I mean, I'm not afraid. So that's an important thing to know. I remember to be aware of so much of the tracking, tracing, databasing, and threat assessment of the governments of the world, and how art kind of reflects reality, like the Born Identity and MK Ultra actually being really similar. There's a lot of truth that's expressed through the movies and a lot of false information being presented as the news. It's quite a dichotomy. It's quite a irony, quite a paradox. So seeing the truth in the movies, what's presented as entertainment, it's all programming, all of it. How's your programming going? High tide a couple minutes ago. We had a lot of sand pumped up on the beach over the years that I've been here. We've been here about a decade now, and the sand gets pumped up with diesel pumps and is vacuumed up off the bottom of the ocean and moved around with bulldozers. Hi, how are you? Good morning. Good. Hi. Another beautiful day, huh? Oh, yeah. Well, I want to say thank you so much for your public and private encouragement for tuning in. Like I said, you can call me anytime. I wanted to see if there was still somebody there. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the likes. I appreciate that. I think I do want to tell you something else too. Some of the executives that you would recognize with Facebook and Google and all that are talking about, oh, they think it's just a terrible thing how people are trying to satisfy that dopamine reward system by their interactivity on their phones and that. And one of the, I mean, it's kind of funny. Some people are very superficial with their activity on social media, and others are dealing with some serious hard hitting issues. I do both. I do both. I want you to know. So, what I would encourage you to do is to open up my like videos playlist and scroll through. if you care to. If you like a video, you can send it to a playlist that you make. I mean, I'm not just talking about me talking. I'm talking about powerful documentaries like True Stream Media has put out about the minds of men. Wow, mind control, the great culling, the fluoridation of water, and the professionals that are involved in that, the atmospheric modification, and the scientists that are talking about the technical terms for what's going in the air that we breathe, in many cases would be aluminum, barium, strontium, biological agents. And when we inhale that and swallow it, it hits the hydrochloric acid in our bodies and is activated in our physiology. Nanobots, isn't that special? Boron has some physiological, and baking soda have some physiological benefits to offset some of that activity. Got documentaries that back that up. Also, and this is the most important thing, artificial intelligence knows a lot and has control, administrative control of the entire internet, as best I'm aware of, which includes the creation and distribution of electricity, the creation and modification of weather systems, the creation of purchasing power, money or something like that. It's actually the ability to buy and influence humanity with that power. The modification of the chemicals that are going in the food, water, and air, genetically modified products, food type products that allow them to put very harmful herbicides and insecticides on the like for example, corn is the base food product for much of humanity. Roundup Ready corn can handle glyphosate, a known cancer causing product. So whether you might say, well, you're a vegan, but if you're drinking high fructose corn syrup in any of its forms, you're getting hit with that. If you're putting aluminum deodorant under your arms, you're getting it in your lymph nodes and in your physiology. That's why I'm in a perpetual detoxification process, because the chemicals that are going in the food, water, and air, and in our eyes and in our ears, with and more. So when I'm talking about that, I'm also talking about, hey, the ears can take in those nanoparticles as well, but also false information. The programming of the music that may be somewhat entertaining, and yet it's programming. Depending on the lyrics, they can be very destructive to the belief system of an individual, the corrupting of humanity. It's been going on for a long time. We see it starting out in Genesis 3 in the Bible. I believe God's word is true and all others are suspect. There's one author of scripture, that's the Holy Spirit, the God who created this world. You may know him as Yahweh, Yeshua, the great I am, the living word, the living water, Jesus Christ, many names. I'm talking about the one who took up human flesh a couple thousand years ago, and he does it every day in his children when they are actually born again. So somebody that's involved in some very dark activity, grievous sin, it can be uh, you can be forgiven of that if you're a child of God and you're actually then born again. Now, one of the false pretense for the Desert Storm War would be throwing the babies out of the incubators. That's a tagline. That was a statement that was made by a young lady, and then the entire State Department official release. The president at the time, George H. Uh, Bush, and so the reason why I mentioned that is because we were presented the false pretense to go and blow up a lot of innocent people, to kill them. Yeah, and it was based on a lie. Now, the truth is that 7 people per second no longer have the human experience. Roughly half of those are aborted babies. So that's a lot of innocent, preborn people, men and women, that are being aborted, ripped out of their mother's womb. That's murder. And some will say, well, I've been forgiven of that because I'm born again now. Well, if you're actually born again, then you are forgiven. Or if you will be born again, then you're forgiven. Keep in mind, if you're a child of Satan, you might even be praising Jesus or Yahweh, Yeshua, and Torah keeping and festival day observance and all of that. If you're not born again, you're not even going to see the kingdom of heaven. And I can't tell you for sure if you are. That's between you and God to work out the details on that. So there's legalism within all forms of religion, trying to adhere to guidelines, commandments, writings. Well, we fail. I fail. What's interesting now that I'm actually born again is the failure rate is greatly reduced, as best I can tell, because I do my best to rely on God to empower me, to lead me, to do what He created me to do. I remember before I was born again, it was very ambiguous for me to understand what I should do. Now I pretty much do what I believe I should do. That's the conscience. And if what I believe I should do directly opposes what Scripture says, well, then I believe I would be deceived on that. However, if what I want to do is pretty much got biblical approval, then I'm good with it. If it doesn't speak on an issue, then I'll like do I move back to Wisconsin? No, I don't believe I should. There's roughly 20 million guests that visit the Myrtle Beach Grand Strand area each year now. It's a lot of people. It's a mission field that comes here. I remember some people reflecting on, they should do missions work more around here. Well, missionaries are sent to this area from different ministries. I happen to have one. I don't have a 501c3 muzzle on me. I mean, if you wanted to send me resources to help do what I do, there's ways to do that. You could call me, and I've got PayPal and Venmo and that on my channel. I'm not in a perpetual fundraising kind of a thing. I've got the YouTube Truth Mobile. It's getting old. It's got almost a quarter of a million miles on it, but I'll just keep running it until it doesn't run anymore. It works great. So I don't need something shinier or prettier. I'd like to have a self-driving Cybertruck or one of the Tesla self-driving top-of-the-line cars, but that's probably never going to happen. The only way that, it's kind of funny because Elon Musk, if you're hearing this, I would be happy to graciously accept any corporate sponsorship from Tesla or SpaceX. But keep in mind, I'm going to be telling people that I like your cars, I like your trucks, I like a lot of the automation that you're doing. I'm not so much a fan of the injectable technology of Neuralink, Neuralace, and I'm not a fan of space fantasies that you're presenting to humanity. So you can see why it would be unlikely that I would receive a vehicle from Tesla. So one of the reasons why I leverage the technology is I'm just a few minutes from home and I can travel throughout the whole world on a broadcast like this. And that's one of the reasons why I'll be busy about putting my links in different comments and wherever I can, basically. so that people can have access to that content if they want to. I do have a digital audio Bible merged with the beauty of creation, hard-hitting documentaries and relaxing music and time-lapse footage and the beauty of creation from all over the world. There's a little something there for everybody. So there you go. This is Robert Forsch with the YouTube channel Truth. Feel free to reach out anytime you like. My Gmail account is robertforsch@gmail.com. Thank you so much for your public and private encouragement.